So his next question says, how to NAP and citations if it's for an area or service? So you mean a service area business? There is no store for the customers. How to create NAP for a plumber, for example? Thanks. Well, because the business has a physical location, right? It has to. A real business has to have a physical location somewhere, right? So if it's a genuine Google My Business profile, it's not a spammed address or black hatted profile listing, right? Then it's going to have a genuine address. Per Google's terms of service or terms of use, you're not supposed to, for a service area business, you're supposed to hide the physical address. So essentially, it'll just say company name, city, state, zip, instead of the actual street address in there, which is fine. But the business still has a street address, and Google knows what that street address is. So for a lot of business directories, which is what you would call like a structured citation, they're going to require that anyways. They're going to require the physical location, like the full street address. More and more business directories now are allowing you to just enter the company name, city, state, and zip, plus phone number and website address and stuff like that. That's becoming more common, but there's still the vast majority of citation directories or business directories require that you have the actual full address. So you just use the full address. Here's the thing. Very few people actually, at least from contractors, which almost all of the businesses that I've been doing client work for, as well as for lead generation stuff, are contractors, and they're almost all service area businesses. Very few of them have a storefront, and those that do, it's typically because they got a showroom. Like a kitchen remodeling company, for example, might have a showroom where they showcase different types of kitchen layouts and things like that. But very rarely, because most all of them are service area businesses, which means we hide their address in Google. But I still build citations for them, which will show the street address on most all of, like 95% of the business directories that they're listed on. Why? Because it doesn't really matter. Even my contracting clients that run their contracting company from their home don't really care, because not very many leads ever come from any of those other websites. We use those other directories to help them rank in Google, because that's where they get, the vast majority of their leads. And people go to Google and search, and they don't actually see their address. That makes sense. If you're going to build citations, you can, if it's for a valid business that has a real physical location with a street address, then go ahead and include it. If for whatever reason your client or your business, if it's your own business, does not want your physical address published, then just don't build citations on those particular directories, the ones that require a street address. Just build on the ones that allow you to get away with company name, city, state, zip, and phone number, and web address, and that kind of thing. That's entirely up to you. That said, if you are using a spammed GMB profile, so a black hatted profile that a business doesn't really reside where you say it does, don't build citations, period. And the reason I say that is because what happens is when you start building citations, that company name and that address that was used will actually get onto mailing lists for it just gets on the mailing list, period. And all of a sudden you'll start getting solicitation in the mail, like physical mail, for advertising specialties, like from people that create pens with the name on it and things like that. You'll get marketing mail from the directory services, a lot of times trying to upsell you on additional marketing services. And you'll start getting like checks, like Vistaprint, things like that. And people that are trying to get you to sign up to have checks and merchant account processors and credit card machines and things like that. You'll start getting all this shit sent to an email or a physical address that either doesn't exist or isn't actually where your business is located. And if it's going to somebody else's business or residence, then they will often report that they're getting mail from a company or two that's addressed to a company that doesn't actually reside there. And so it's a good way to get your business shut down or your listing shut down anyways. And if it's a non-existent address, then the post service will start returning the mail to those directories or the mailing list providers, and it eventually can get reported that there's not a business there. So I recommend, and we've been recommending this for well over a year now, if you're going to be using any spammed addresses, then don't build structured citations. You can still rank in maps without building structured citations. They certainly help, but you don't need them. You know what I'm saying? So, and you guys want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, it's two different things, right? One of them is Google requiring a service area business not to display the address. And the other one, the question that he should be asking, or that this person should be asking is it a legitimate business with, I don't know, storefront? And a storefront or a place of business can just be a garage, right? Where they can receive a business mail. If that's so, then you should definitely have name, address, and phone number, because that helps your entity as far as the location is concerned, right? It creates what we call the centroid, the business centroid, where you have that legitimate address and you can get the citations and you can do all of that work to enhance your entity. Now, if as Bradley said, if you're using a spam business address, then no, you don't want to do the citations. So it depends. This is as always on the internet and with the space in which we work. This depends entirely on the type of business that you're servicing, or whoever your client is. It depends entirely on how you're setting that up.
Agreed.